Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So one of the important parts of any ham radio station is the antenna. No matter what frequency or band, it's a very important part of your setup. And when it comes to frequencies lower than 30 MHz, the wavelength is long, meaning antennas are quite large. Now some people use resonant antennas for HF, some use loaded antennas, and some use random lengths of wire and rely on a tuner to fool the radio into seeing a perfect 50 ohm match. Now my personal preference is to use resonant antennas, and if I cannot use a resonant antenna, then a remote tuner is my preferred choice. However, a lot of people use tuners that are built into their radios, but some radios do not have internal tuners. Now this is where something like this would come in. You connect it between your radio and your antenna, normally right after the radio antenna socket. However, this little Z-Match tuner is only really rated for 5 watts use, with 10 watt support intermittently. So this manual tuner would really only suit low power transceivers. Now you could potentially also use something like this connected to an SDR that you're using to receive only. Looking at this example of a random wire laying on the top of my fence, we can see virtually no signal, but as I tune the tuner controls, we start to hear stations. Now this unit only costs around $30 US, and even cheaper if you're going to use the coupon code that I'll put in the video description. 2 rotary controls on the front, one labelled as load and the other tune. There's also a red LED labelled as SWR, which you would think it's there to indicate a high SWR. However, after my testing, it appeared to work quite randomly, even if the antenna was tuned. Now the switch in the middle, either tune or work. Now I believe here you're supposed to switch it to tune when tuning the antenna, and then work when you want to use the antenna itself. However, I did not have much success with this switch, and I just left it switched to the work setting. Now on the rear, there's also 2 B and C sockets, one is for the radio and one for your antenna. The switch in the middle is to switch between high and low impedance. Now this is something you may have to switch while performing the tuning procedure, and it all depends on the type of aerial that's connected. Now apparently you are supposed to start with both front rotary controls pointing up to the 12 o'clock position. You then carefully adjust the load while transmitting a low carrier, and then adjust the load for lowest SWR. You then move over to the tune control and perform the same, adjusting to get the low SWR. You then have to switch back to the load control and slightly move it to tune it even further. Now most HF radios do have an SWR meter built in, so you can keep an eye on this. If it doesn't, then you will need to insert an SWR meter in line 2. So before we test this manual tuner on air, let's take a quick look inside. Now those dinky little variable capacitors are the reason for such low power support, and it's kind of expected considering the price of this unit. Now the ferrite core appears to have 2 sets of windings, most likely switched in and out via that high and low impedance switch that's located on the rear. Now other than that, there's not much to it, and seeing inside this is actually making me want to build my own external tuner, using those large variable capacitors with a stepper motor remotely controlled to tune it. Now let me know in the comments if building something like that would interest you, and I'll see what I can do. I guess the hardest part will be locating some suitable variable capacitors that can withstand at least 100 watts of RF power. Now to see how well this little manual tuner works, I set up a temporary antenna in my garden. Now it's not very high, but high enough for testing. Now this is called a GPA 80 antenna. It's available from Moonraker here in the UK, and it's around 6 meters in length, and it has an unhoused housed in the little box in the bottom. Now from memory, I think it's a 4:1, but I could be wrong. However, you will still need a tuner to use this, and I'll leave a link to this antenna if you want to see more about it. This is the SWR plot just with the antenna up in the air, so you can see that it's not really usable on any bands. Now I will perform some tests using FT8, testing each band to see if I can make a contact using only 5 watts from my Yaesu FT710 that's located in my shack. Now before starting each FT8 session, I will need to tune up for the selected band, and as mentioned before, it's just a case of adjusting the controls for the lowest possible SWR. For this, I just transmit an FM carrier. Now you could use a CW carrier too, or even an AM carrier. I also use the SWR meter that's built into the radio, and that provides me a real-time SWR reading as I tune the antenna using this little tuner. Now it can be a little tricky sometimes to get that perfect tune, but as you turn each knob or switch the high and low impedance switch on the back, you do start to get a feel of how this manual tuner works. Sometimes very small adjustments may need to be made to make that SWR meter drop to an acceptable level, and then other times you need to adjust it far more. So after making at least one contact on each band, I then took a look on the PSK Reporter website just to see where else my FT8 transmissions were being heard. Now this is not really a true indication of how well the antenna is working or how well the tuner is working, but it's interesting to see nevertheless. Now I'll start off on 40 meters as top band and 80, no one heard my signal, but that's most likely due to me testing during early afternoon. Now on 40 meters it appears my 5-watt FT8 transmission using this cheap tuner and a rather short vertical antenna was reached mainly in Western Europe. 30 meters, which is a band that I almost never use, does have some concentrated reception reports around Western Europe. 20 meters went a little further afield, reaching over to the east coast of the USA and some into Russia. Not many received on the 17-meter band, although we do have one over on the east coast of the USA. Now 15 meters was a disappointment, but again this could be just down to band conditions, or it could be that this antenna tuner is extremely inefficient, so not much RF power was being transmitted. 12 meters was also quite sparse, but there is one right over there in Asia. In fact, I actually worked this station using FT8 at the time of making these tests, so not bad for less than 5 watts. Lastly, we have 10 meters, and here we have a splattering of receive reports over in the Philippines and down near Bali, so not too bad at all. Now for me, this is something that I cannot imagine myself using on a regular basis. However, there are many ham radio operators that like to use low power, and something like this might just be the perfect little tuner to throw in a rucksack with a length of wire and hike those mountains for those SOTA activations. Personally, I think for the price, it's not too bad, and it would get you on the air if you got in trouble or you wasn't able to make a resonant antenna. Anyway guys, let us know what you think about this down in the comments below. What do you think about the price, build quality, and well, the test that I performed? Not entirely scientific or testing for loss, but it just shows that it actually does work. Until the next video, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.